Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Love is Blind Season 8, Episode 10. Let's see what happens.
Last night, he texted me at like 3 a.m. Saying that he was going to stay at his apartment and that we can hopefully figure things out tomorrow.
Have you heard from him?
No, not since that. I love him and I want to figure this relationship out with him. I'm emotional because I've never felt like this and I've never wanted this to work with someone.
Okay, so it looks like Dave is having a difficulty showing up and being present. And so now we have Lauren who's crying over that, who's waiting for him to show up. I guess Dave keeps staying in his apartment, which is probably not helpful and also very confusing. Why aren't you showing up, Dave? I'm very confused at that decision. So they're not talking. They're not communicating. Like, that's the irony, is that he's letting his sister in his head, his friends in his head, talking to probably everyone but Lauren, the person he should be communicating with.
They were all there, yeah. Or like, I don't know who was all there.
Yeah. Okay, so we just had a small conversation, very awkward, tons of small talk. And then Dave told Lauren that he went to a bar and ran into other pod people there.
Yeah, Molly's here. Do you want to go meet her? And I was just like, no. Like, absolutely not. That would be the dumbest thing ever.
Especially too in the state that you were in last night. My parents are like, I just really don't want to see you get hurt.
I don't know what that means. So Molly was there and people were saying, do you want to see Molly? And he said, no, that'd be so stupid. I'm not sure why it would be stupid because I feel like people are a little weird about, but I guess it would be stupid because he's ignoring Lauren and then choosing to hang out with Molly. That's what it would look like. Even if that's not literally what's happening, that's what it would look like. So obviously that's a part of the issue. Interesting how stifled they are. It's interesting how much of a struggle this is for them. I'm so curious, like, what is going on through Dave's head? Like, what is going on in his head?
And so like seeing me last night was like hard. And I,
Wait, you saw them last night?
Yeah.
I didn't know that you saw them last night.
The only thing that they knew was like, you were with your friends, I was with them. Parents want to meet you and like be part of this.
Yeah.
Oh, so Lauren was with her parents and he didn't realize that was happening. But Lauren's parents haven't met him yet. And so that's another layer that's awkward, right? Is they are not meeting each other's families or friends.
The thing I think about the most when I'm thinking about like meeting them for the first time is like, I know they're going to talk to us and want to ask us about like, why can't you just like move on from this whole situation? I've been thinking about that, like how I'm going to answer that. And I have no idea.
I'm speaking for both of us. I just want to be with you.
Yeah.
Okay, so then they say the best way to have the conversation with our parents is just to say that we want to be together. It's like Dave is avoiding awkward social situations or moments, but he's making it more awkward because he keeps avoiding it. So now we're on to Joey and Monica, and her sister is actually a professional photographer. So she just took their photos and now they're about to have like a serious conversation.
When I brought Joey home, you were like skeptical.
You come home with this random dude, it almost just felt like you were strangers.
Yeah.
Because you were a stranger to me.
Oh, absolutely.
And I just like had my heart on my sleeve and I was not that nice, so I'm sorry.
I appreciate the apology.
You did nothing wrong.
Was there anything about me specifically that you were concerned or didn't have a good impression about?
I'm so confused here. So basically, she apologized, which was good. I appreciate that. She said there was nothing he did wrong, which was good. And then Joey, self-aware Joey, obviously this man's been to therapy, which we know, but he said, well, is there anything wrong with me other than the experiment, right? And she said, your energy level. It's like the Monica we have been seeing is so high energy. The Monica that we've been seeing is equal golden retriever to his energy. So now I'm wondering, is the sister projecting because she isn't high energy, but Monica obviously is? Or did Joey bring out a version of Monica that she's only brought out with him because she doesn't bring it out with her family?
I am a very serious and like I have a lot of like intelligent conversations with
I
her
know.
specifically.
And just because I'm a napper, it doesn't mean I can't go want to do things and
I
have
know.
fun and like have
Totally.
a lot of energy.
Yeah, I like
but also,
can't
like,
help but be protective of
Yeah,
you.
but also,
Yeah, it feels like Monica must have showed Joey a side that she hasn't quite shown her family. And I do think they're so high energy, but I also really, really appreciate how serious they can get when they're being serious.
Like, I see you guys like each other.
Okay, that's nice. The sisters being complimentary and seeing the good energy between them.
But now that we've had the photo shoot, I think he's super kind, super authentic. I think that they are romantically into each other.
Okay, they're like so in love or something. That's what the next sentence is. That's so funny.
And I can see him becoming part of our family.
Okay, that's nice to see. Whether they make it to the altar or not, though, if I had to take bets, I would say they are going to say yes at the altar. So we're meeting Virginia's mother, Mary, cute. And we'll see how the questioning goes.
Got divorced when my daughter was little, right? Do you have concerns about her being from a divorced family?
No, I don't think so because she has such a strong relationship with both of you. I feel like she still connects with her family really well, and I'm just happy to get to know you and her dad. So.
That feels like an authentic answer. I know he comes from a married, his parents are married, and they're really strong in their religion, and they're very anti-divorce, it feels like, from my memory. So it's interesting. I think that's a really fair question from her mom and a really fair answer from him. And also, it can be difficult, I think, maybe culturally. I don't know. It might be difficult being with somebody who comes from a divorced home. I've dated people who are from divorced homes, people who weren't. I didn't see that much significant of a difference, but I do think that it can make a difference. It just depends on the situation. I don't think it always does make a difference. So I appreciate that he didn't write Virginia off just because her parents are divorced. I also think it's nice that she has a good relationship with both of her parents.
You know, I'm looking at you. I'm trusting you to, be the man that you're displaying today to take care of my baby, my most precious thing, my best creation of life.
Well, I just want to say that I commend you on the way you raised your daughter, because she is a beautiful person, and I can tell that you are as well. And, hopefully after we get married and everything, I can become a part of your family for life.
I swear to God, if Devin and Virginia don't get married now, I'm going to be so upset, because they're playing into it so hard, and their families are really wholesome and supportive, and it would just be so heartbreaking for them, not to work out in a sense. But of course, whatever's right for them is right for them. So I'm also assuming they are going to make it to the altar.
Mike, hello.
How are you?
Okay, here we go. Dave finally meeting the family, or at least the mom.
So what do we need to know about you, Dave?
My friends, they're all having kids right now. And I'm like, I want a kid. I'm ready to start doing that. It looks fun.
Ugh. I really think most people are not up to standard to be a parent, but I know that's upsetting to hear. But I think humans are going to human, and I just think we aren't breaking enough generational curses to be bringing new consciousnesses into the universe. And so for Dave to be like, oh, my friends are having kids and it just looks so much fun. I want to have fun and have a kid. Having a kid isn't like starting a new hobby. You can't just quit it when you're bored. Same thing with adoption for animals. We adopt these animals and then we just willy-nilly give them back to shelters, give them away, whatever, throw them on the street. I don't think people are as responsible when it comes to taking care of another life, but human's gonna human. It is what it is. So Dave thinks it's gonna be super fun having a baby.
When I was getting married, I said to Nona, my mom, I'm really nervous, I'm anxious, I'm scared. My parents were divorced.
Yeah.
She said, is it Dave that you're worried about, or is it marriage? And I said, oh, Dave's the one. It's marriage. She said, you cannot live your life based on other people who have gone through marriage before you. And I'm very much in love with my husband still. So I'm not just married. I think that's important for people to know.
Interesting. So Lauren's dad is named Dave. And so her mom said something really important, which is that we're not just married, we're in love, which is so true. It's not just about being married. It is about being in love. I think that's so important and healthy and in love and rooting for your partner. And then Dave, the dad Dave, just doesn't want to be on camera. So he doesn't want to meet Dave, but Dave doesn't want to be on camera to meet Dave. So it is what it is. It makes sense. I wouldn't be surprised if more people from this area felt a little bit more cautious about being on reality TV. So I'm not that surprised.
Do they want to just meet Dave and I off camera at all? Or
I think
for
so,
me,
yeah.
For somebody who didn't go through it and you're trying to explain to your family and friends, I can see there being this huge disconnect.
Yes.
Midwest people, this doesn't happen to people like us. And then to expect our families to be so fine with it. I totally get it.
Yeah, they're talking about how awkward it is and how the families are confused and how they're Midwest. So maybe that's why it's also awkward. It's a bubble pop. It's a bubble difference, it's like meeting people who their whole life is planned around the dream of going to see the ocean or going to Disneyland. And then you grow up like a spoiled California kid. That's me. I'm the spoiled California kid. And you forget that the thing that's just so normal for you is somebody's once in a lifetime dream vacation, right? So, you forget how different the world is even within the United States. We're all just so unique. We're really truly having completely different relationships with money, babies, location, weather. It's just a different struggle living in California than New York, or living in Minneapolis. That is so hard for me to say, or anywhere else. It's just really different. So I'm glad they talked about those differences.
Your friends are going to survive this?
Yeah, my friends are fine.
At some point, they have to realize it's not about them.
I know. I think everybody needs to realize that.
There's more going on in the world right now to worry about.
I know.
Than this.
That's where this whole process has helped me a lot. I would have bailed a week ago. I'd be like, I'm out.
What? What? The mom mentioned that there's a lot going on in the world right now for this to matter, which I thought she was talking about global politics. That's where my brain went. And then Dave's like, yeah, that's what's really grounding me right now, because when I would have bailed last week, but then when we have hard conversations, I come back. I was so confused about, I don't understand what any of that discourse meant. Do you guys know what? I don't even know what that meant, but What?
We don't have to be here.
Yeah.
Like no one's forcing us to still be here.
Right.
Like we can bail at any moment.
Yeah.
But like we want to be here. And there's a big difference.
I mean, that's true. Nobody is forcing them to be there. They could just bail, but it's kind of annoying that they're kind of not bailing in a sense, because it's like, you're obviously struggling to commit to her. Just like commit or get off the pot. You know, I don't know. It feels a little disingenuous, but he's right that no one's forcing them to be there. And maybe him staying is a part of him showing up, but I don't think so.
Come on, force yourself.
To what?
To ask me the hard questions. We only have 2 weeks. What'll make you mad? What'll make you kick me out?
Fun fact. This was a part of my courting with my now partner, where we asked ourselves, like, okay, what are the red flags? What would make you want to break up? What's something that is like a no-go in a relationship for you? So Virginia wants to have that conversation, which is so good. So, you know, she's saying like, what is the thing that would end this relationship, right? Or the next sentence is, what will make you leave and want to go sleep in another bed? I'm not sure I like the phrasing of that, because that insinuates that she would do something to make him cheat. And regardless of how you're treated, it shouldn't be the reason you cheat. So I don't want Virginia to internalize that she has to show up a particular way in this marriage in order for him not to cheat. People don't cheat because of what you do. They cheat because of their values.
I feel like we've already had all the conversations that if we didn't agree on it would push me away from you.
About politics.
Oh,
Politics?
they haven't talked about politics yet? Here we go, girl. Here we go. I thought they would have covered that already.
I'm not super big into politics. I don't have a strong stance on it, if I'm being honest.
Uh-oh.
Are you one side or the other?
I usually vote Democratic.
Here we go.
It's generally a pretty flawed system. I think it's important to vote.
When you're voting and things like that, do you try to align it to like your faith?
Oh my God, this is it. This is it. This is going to break him up, bro. He's more right wing. Do you remember how he reacted to Brittany? And she's saying she votes Democrat, which means he's going to be maybe an anti-Biden voter, maybe? I don't know.
I can be Christian and somebody else can be Christian, and they have their ideas of what it is and are very like conservative.
Uh-oh.
But I do think that I make decisions from my faith. I think people should have abortion rights.
Yes, girl.
I think gay people should have rights.
Yes, girl. I always knew she was a real one, Virginia.
It's hard because all of those things are like becoming political, you know what I mean, conversations again. When it's like I thought we were so far past that, but we're not. It is an interesting time to live in the United States.
Ooh, let's go, Devin. Come on, bro. Let's bring, oh my God, let's go.
But we're going to be able to have abortions? I didn't know we had to go back and debate that one again.
I kind of go back and forth, and I'm not really like, I feel like women have, like, it's their bodies and what they want to do with their bodies, but I also think the man and the woman that the situation is happening, if she's pregnant and they're deciding what to do with it, it should be both.
Oh, you
both
mean
of them
he should
decide.
he should be able to say his opinion?
Yeah, his opinion on it.
So we're going to vote the same when we go to the polls or different?
We voted differently. What would that mean to you?
I love these conversations because they are the crux of a real conversation. These are the conversations you gotta have before you get engaged, before you honestly even move in with somebody. Listen, in my 20s, I thought I could really differ on these topics with a lot of people. I've never actually dated a conservative, for the record. Like in all of my adult dating, I've never been with a Republican or conservative, but I've been with liberals who aren't progressive. And let me tell you, sometimes it doesn't feel that different, even though I know it is. And that was horrible. Dating a liberal that's not a progressive is one of the worst experiences, because you think you're in a safe space and then you realize like, oh, the misogyny, upholding the patriarchy. I don't know about any of this. You know what I mean? So this is a really interesting question to ask. Like, if we voted differently, does that mean we can't get married? And often, yes. If it doesn't work that way in your relationship, that's fine. But you know, for a lot of us, it's a make or break.
I'd be okay with it. I think we should just talk about it more.
Right.
I think some of them are just like really big topics, you know, kind of alarming if you were just way on the other end of the spectrum.
I agree with that too. But it would depend on the candidates for me.
Listen to me when I say this. There is no good Republican policy. It does not depend on the candidate. There are no good Republican candidates. There are no safe Republican candidates. There are no good Republican candidates. No good Republican policy. Anyone who is willing to say it depends on the candidate, well, maybe if the policy, no, nothing good comes from Republicans. And if they want that to change, they need to change. But nothing good comes from Republicans.
Family, how do they vote?
Typically, they vote conservative.
Trumpers. I knew they were Trumpers. I could feel it in my guts they were Trumpers. I'm telling you, I could feel it in my guts they were Trumpers.
They are on the side of what their teachings are for their religion.
My family does not vote that way.
My family too. One side votes Trump, one side votes Democrat. So they're all Catholic, one side of the Catholics vote Democrat and one side of the Catholics vote Republican.
But they're black, so I feel like a lot of black people, not a lot of black Republicans. I'm not going to keep beating this horse.
Ooh, okay. So it didn't really end on closure. I would have liked some closure, but they're going to have to think about it. This puts them now in the bracket of probably going to, I would be surprised if Virginia said yes. I wouldn't be surprised if Virginia said no to him at the altar for this reason. Because it sounds like he doesn't pay attention to politics, but if his family is Trumpers, then that could leak over to his relationship, which is why he probably reacted the way he did to Brittany.
I know everything is really great, just met each other.
We feel like we've been dating for years. What we've talked about and things like that are things that relationships don't talk about until maybe 6 months to a year into a relationship.
Yeah, unless you're a lesbian.
Okay.
We had a child that's LGBT, and the church is acceptance of only man and woman marriage.
Can we pause for a second? I hate the word acceptance because it's like there's something wrong with us that you have to accept. I'm sorry, but I'm not faulting you.
What word should I use?
No, not you, but like I hate that churches use like we accept everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's God's word.
Interesting. They had a little bit of a where Sarah thought she was miscommunicating, but the partner was trying to say, like, it's interesting that the churches have to be like, oh, we accept gay people here or we don't. It's like, am I God's child or not? Like, churches will literally accept every sin under, and I get it, like, growing up Catholic myself, they'll say we love you, but not the sin, or love the sinner, hate the sin type thing. It's exhausting. I'm exhausted with you. I really think, and like, so many years, we're going to look at Christians and Muslims and everybody else with peace and love the same way we look at people who like believe in Zeus and stuff. It's just going to be like, why? But also there will be replacements for what people believe in, right? Humans have evolved to create these constructs around meaning. And instead of finding meaning within ourselves, because that doesn't make sense to them, they find meaning, in regards to this great being that makes sense for why we're here. But it is what it is. So I am curious on the dynamics of everybody involved. I think that's what's standing out to me the most. Her sister doesn't seem to be talking much.
You said something honestly pretty on par with how I am, where like you're conservative like financially, but then liberal socially.
That's such a centrist red flag. Wait, the partner's like, you consider yourself fiscally conservative and socially liberal? Yeah, that's such a centrist like position.
So fiscally conservative and socially liberal?
Yeah.
Okay. So like, I'm not coming for you, but there's people that are fiscally conservative and socially liberal that probably vote differently than you.
Yeah, exactly, because it's a red flag for centrists who usually vote Republican.
Well, yeah.
And that impacts your rights. I think you guys need to have serious conversations about politics.
I'll go get us some drinks.
Okay.
Let's chat. And I'll be right back.
Okay. So how are you feeling with everything?
I'm okay. I'm struggling.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time.
She asked them how they were doing, and then it was like, we're having a hard time. Okay, so they are not excited.
It's hard to buy into something we don't experience.
I don't want you guys to feel like you have to buy into it. Like,
we don't have to buy into it.
We're aligned in so many ways. Like, we're very similar.
Finding someone who is your same is not the same as finding your complement.
I see that you have a strong connection. Caution you as your sister. It's not real right now.
Okay, so we have some contention. They're not buying into it. They're not buying into the experiment. Or Ben, interesting. They're not interesting. Maybe they feel like she's in La La Land, like a little bit too excited, maybe. Okay. I mean, I see they're strong. I see they're passionate. I love that they picked up on the red flag of socially liberal, fiscally conservative, because super red flag for me when I hear that. I'm like, I don't know about this, She
just didn't expect me to get this far or like keep it going. And I kind of let her on to be like, it's not going to.
Oh, so Dave told his sister that it's like not real. Wait, now I'm confused. Was he the guy who went on the show just to be famous? Which is what the sister was accusing Lauren of doing. They're never gonna make me like you, Dave.
She was like, you're going on this experiment.
Yeah.
But you never even tell me that, about your dating life. She's like, I could have set you up with people that I know are like,
ugh, boundaries. It feels like maybe they grew up in a really like misandrous home. Maybe I don't, want to use that word too loosely here, but something's going on. Or maybe it's like the patriarchal home with internalized misogyny. Something's going on here. It's weird. Where the sister is mad that he was going on the Love is Blind experiment instead of she's like, oh, I could have hooked you up with somebody I know. Why is she so involved in her brother's dating life? Like maybe it's just the bubble that I'm in. My siblings are on their own dating journeys. Like we're not even in the same social groups. I just don't like the way that Dave's sister is all up in his business.
After talking to your dad. That was a lot like for me to handle.
It's a lot for me to handle that your sister doesn't want to meet me.
Wait, I'm confused. I have to go back. He said that meeting her dad was really stressful, which I think happened off camera. And she's saying not meeting your sister is really stressful for me. But let me go back and rewind it for myself just to double check I heard that right. Yeah, okay. He said after talking to your dad. So he must have already met him off camera, which I guess didn't reassure Dave through the process. Makes me wonder Further, why is Lauren sticking around? What is motivating this woman? He's now met both of her parents and she's met none of his friends. Why is she putting such an effort? And now he's saying, I met your dad and it still wasn't comforting to me.
Like,
she does. She's just like my family. They don't meet just anyone.
Okay, but Lauren's not just anyone. She's your fiance. So the idea that like, oh, my family doesn't just meet anybody. It's like, okay, well, make a decision.
I don't want to waste her time either.
Oh, he said, I don't want to waste her time either. Lauren, girl, what are we doing?
Hey, if you don't want to waste your sister's time meeting me, then like if you don't see it with me, then like I want to know. I don't know like how much longer I can like keep like doing this.
I don't really want to have this conversation here.
I know, same.
Oh, okay, that's the end of the episode. Ooh, I mean, yeah, like why are you staying around? What's in it for you? Like why would you want to keep putting up with this? All right, I guess I'll see you for the next episode. We're almost done, a few more to go, and we'll really see who ends up at the reunion because that's really where it counts. Okay, guys, I'll see you for the next one. Special thanks to my YouTube members and my patrons for making content happen. I really appreciate it. Please like, subscribe, share this with somebody else watching Love is Blind, and I will see you for the next one. Bye.